Welcome to the Stature Icon Podcast, where we help you find the courage to stand tall and shine bright. I'm your host, Jalal Wilson, and I believe that each and every one of you is a stature icon. In each episode, we'll explore challenges we face on our journey to self-discovery and personal growth. What's going on? I know it's been a while since my last podcast, and I know. I wanted to talk today. I'm going to get back to that later. I wanted to talk today about something I learned during this little break of mine from podcast land. And it is something simple but profound. Your word is your wand. Yes, I'm going to say it again. Your word is your wand. Now, the reason why I wanted to repeat it again is because I need you to understand it is your word, not your mama's word, not your daddy's word, not your girlfriend's word, your wife's word, your children's word. It's your word. I've been on this little discovery the last, I want to say almost a month. I go through this thing where my children leave for the summer. So when the children come back, I feel like I had a break from them. So I should be maximizing that time. And that could be learning something new. That can be figuring out an income stream, like a new income stream, something. I should be doing something while these kids are gone. That's how I feel. Well, I went about that process this time. But what I kept realizing and kept coming back to were words. My words, other people's words, just words is what I kept coming back to. And it took me down a whole rabbit hole of thinking about the words that I say to myself, thinking about the words that others say to me, thinking about how words that I say impact others, and how, what is the best way to use words? Because when I say words are your wand, the words you use, they determine what you see, and what you see determines what you do, and what you do determines how far you will go. So if we understand that, then we understand words are a very, very, very big deal. And learning how to look at that and be conscious of the words that you use or that we use is a whole thing, because we just say stuff. Sometimes I'll speak for myself. I know sometimes I just let stuff just come out. I might be mad, or I might be just, not thinking in that moment. I'll just say some crap. And then once you said it, it's said. Like it's out there. And there's nothing you can say sorry. But you realistically can't take back the words. You can say you apologize and you move on from it, right? But you can't take them back. And that, to me, is something that I've thought about a lot. And I even think about when it comes to stature icons. So part of the premise here is that a lot of us men of shorter stature do not like or care for ourselves based off what other people have said about our height. And there are a lot of things that people have said about short men and their height and how they're not enough, how they're not real men. The list goes on and on. And a lot of these, I'm in I'm 44. And I still hear some of these things at 44. So I know it's a real thing that people say whatever about our stature. I get that. Now, what tends to make that more dangerous is when we take the things that people are saying about our height and then we start to say them to ourselves about our height. Now, it's one thing for somebody else to say it, but once you start saying it, it hurts more. It digs deep. It cuts more. When you start saying these things about yourself, well, I'll never be able to get this person or that person because of my height, or I'll never be able to do this, or no one will ever care about me because of my height. Those things start to dig in you. They start to take root in you. And then once they take root, then to feed the root, you have to find examples in the world to prove your point. So the first time somebody says, you know what, something about your height, you go, see, I knew it. And that reinforces that root a little deeper. And then you say to yourself after that, yep, I'm not good enough. I knew it. I knew I wasn't. Boom, reinforcing that root even deeper. And I found myself doing that. You know, getting in these places where it was like having a pity party for myself because of what someone else said about me. It was my excuse to keep myself stuck. And then, so I started thinking about this concept of understanding that my words are my wand. And I started looking at my life and looked at different situations where I use my words in a way that builds me up, or also in a way that was geared towards something I wanted to do or accomplish in the world, right? And it could be something as simple as, you can't see it, but behind me there's a picture. I had decided one year I wanted to have a ball and invite a bunch of people, family, friends, everybody came together. And I decided that, and I made it happen. You know, all the dots connected. I was able to get it done, and over 100 people came. And this was probably about 7 years ago. And there are people who still use the picture from that event as, you know, their profile pictures and different things like that, because it was a truly great experience for them. So I've had these times where I've used my words and was able to make things happen. But then I've also had the times where I've used my words negatively. And then the thing that I was using my words negatively and wanted, it occurred. And then after it occurred, of course, I was like, I can't believe this. But really, I could believe that because my words were saying this is what I was after. What I want you to think about is, how are you using your words right now? Are you using your words to encourage yourself? Or are you using your words to discourage yourself? I'm going to give you a real life, example of this. I had, last week, I was going on my way to Seattle. And we had to drive to the airport. And the day before that, I got in a disagreement with my wife. And the disagreement didn't end the day before that. It still carried over to that morning. But the way I went about it, I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is use, instead of being mad or being frustrated in this moment, I'm going to use my words and use my words in a way that talks about what I want to happen. Because, we're going to go on this trip. What do I want to happen? And so the whole drive not the whole drive, but a good portion of the drive from here, Columbia to Charlotte, I'm in the car and I'm saying to myself, me and my wife are going to have an excellent, wonderful experience this weekend. Me and my wife are going to have an excellent, wonderful experience this weekend. So I'm saying it. I'm repeating it in my head because she's sitting right there. So I'm not saying it out loud, but I'm repeating this in my head over and over and over because I'm trying to impress what I'm saying up on my subconscious mind because I'm like, I don't need, it wasn't worth it for me to have, drama on the trip. So I'm telling myself, I'm repeating that the whole time. And actually it was something more along the lines, it's going to be the best trip or most amazing, whatever the case may be. But I repeated it. And when we came back from that trip, we both said, this is one of the best trips had. And I didn't chop it up to all because I was just saying, what I wanted. But I do believe my words played a part. It played a part in my actions, and it played a part in my expectations for that trip. Because, see, my expectations were that this was going to be a wonderful trip. So I'm looking for things on the trip to meet that expectation, to make sure it's wonderful. From the people I saw to the things that I did, they were all in alignment with what I told myself. Now, I've had situations where, no, actually, even on this trip, there were some things that a few people said, or somebody said, and then there were some things that people didn't say that generally, would have rubbed me the wrong way because I didn't understand. But because I decided that what this trip was going to be for me, I didn't allow those things to affect me on that trip. Now, when I came home, I had to think about those things and come to some, conclusion in my mind about what those things meant. But what I told myself was during that trip, my words were saying, this is going to be an excellent trip. And it was. Now, I have had plenty of times where I believe or use my words to say something negative. And one of the things, and I'm laughing because it's just funny how things work, right? So one of the things that was said to me that kind of annoyed me was from my mom. And annoy is not the right word. But anyway, it's from my mom. And then I got home and I started thinking, I wonder if this is how my kids feel. Because sometimes I just, people say stuff and you be like, and that's kind of how I felt when, my mom said what she said. And I was like, you know what? I have to watch my words with my kids. Because if I don't like that from my parents, I'm sure, they don't like it from me. My kids don't like it from me. So it taught me a lesson. Like, I can laugh about it now, but it made me more aware. So what I'm asking you to do right now is be aware of your words and understand that your words, they are going to come back to you, negative or positive. They're like boomerangs. And when you think about that, that is kind of scary. If you're putting out a bunch of negative words to yourself, it's scary. Or if you're putting out a bunch of negative words to other people, understanding that they're coming back. You threw them out, bow, they're coming right back at you. I want to encourage you to speak to yourself like you're somebody you care about. Speak to yourself like you're somebody you love. And even in the moments that you are confused or things aren't going exactly the way you may want them to, I still want you to speak to yourself positively in those moments. So I think a lot of times we're going to end this podcast. What we're going to end it with is we're going to practice this right now. So I'm going to give you a couple, and one of them is from this book that I have no idea where it is, but it's the book was written in like 1925. It's basically about words, and there is one of them that I repeat every day, and it is. So I want you to do this with me too, and especially for around work, life calling, and those things for men. It's important that we figure that out for ourselves. So the one that I really attach myself to is I do perfect work in a perfect way. I give perfect service for a perfect pay. Again, I do perfect work in a perfect way. I give perfect service for a perfect pay. And so what that says to me is I'm doing service, I'm giving service to someone in exchange for a wage that I deem as perfect. And that should be the whole goal if we're going to work, whatever it is, whether you're selling, you're an entrepreneur, you want to be doing work that is perfect for you. You want your customers to value your work and pay you what you're worth. So just saying that to yourself, you start to set that up in your mind that that's what you're aiming for. That is what you're after. So then your eyes are open when that starts to appear. And when that starts to appear, you'll understand that your words help create that situation. And you'll start being more mindful of your words once you see little things like that start happening. So that is one that is important to me because I want to do perfect work. I want to do it in a perfect way. A perfect way is as in not literally the sense of being perfect, but perfect in a way for me that aligns with who I am and who I want to be and what I want to do with my life. By that meaning perfect. But I want to, whatever I deliver to someone, I want that to be perfect for them. So they will gladly be willing to pay me what I am worth for what I delivered, right? So that's one of them. And another one is if you're going through some a tough time, or you don't know how to, you don't know what the next step is. You can go with something like, I am a problem solver. No problem that I have can outsmart me. I solve all my problems with ease. I am a problem solver. No problem that I have can outsmart me. I solve all my problems with ease. And you just start figuring out ones, whatever it is, you start figuring out for any situation going through, think about what could be some positive words that you could say to yourself to change whatever your negative frame is into something positive. So let's do one around height. Women are attracted to me regardless of my height. I radiate love and energy, and women enjoy my company. Women are attracted to me regardless of my height. I radiate love and energy. I forgot the last part of it, but whatever, because I'm making this up as I go. I forgot the last part of it, but get in the habit of saying those type of words to yourself. And I'm not really, for me, I'm not saying that one right now because I'm married. So I just not even need. She is attracted to me. But I also find value in myself. So I can disconnect from that because I find value in myself. So I would use words to affirm my value. When I affirm my value within myself, then I'm not dependent on who else sees my value. And I can still maneuver in that situation regardless of how, she sees, or maybe she doesn't like my haircut one day. It doesn't mean I need to go cut off my hair. It just means that, she got some, maybe she got some dust on her glasses, or she don't even wear glasses, but maybe her sunglasses just got the wrong tint. It don't mean that I need to go change everything. If I love it, that's what it is. So the whole thing is words, words, words. Use your words to uplift you. Do not use your words to tear you down, because you have value. And you are enough. You are a stature icon. And we stand tall, shine bright. That's what we do. So part of standing tall and shining bright is using your words to encourage you. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments. And if you're listening to this in podcast land, give me 5 stars. Leave a comment. If you're listening to this on YouTube, let me know what some of the words affirmations. What words are you gonna start stringing together and saying to yourself about yourself? I would love to hear in the comments. And be well. That's all for this episode of the Stature Icon podcast. Remember, you have the power within you to break through perceived limitations and shine bright. Embrace your inner icon and never stop reaching for your dreams. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps us reach more listeners and inspire more people to stand tall. For more resources, tips, and inspiration, follow us on social media. That's Stature Icon on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, this is Jalal Wilson reminding you to keep standing tall and shining bright. See you in the next episode.